country music has changed too.
They've embraced technology.
Yeah, they've been making exactly.
No, it's not derogative. Like back in my day, it was like guitar, fiddle, drums, bass.
We met Wes, was it 96, 97?
Sure, why not?
Okay, we're going to go with that. Got his butt kicked by that girl. That feels real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's still in jail for it,
exactly.
Well, welcome, guys, to a brand new podcast of AM Convos with This Empty Vessel.
Hello.
It's
Man,
nice to
thanks
meet
for
you.
having us.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Could you all individually introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Jay.
I'm Gerald.
And I'm Wes.
That's great. And we also have Logan here today.
I'm back.
Hi,
I'm
Logan.
back as co-host.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello, Gerald.
I just want to jump right straight into it. How'd you guys get started? You're a relatively new band, but not new to the industry, correct?
Yeah.
You want to explain it?
Yeah, so technically, we consider ourselves a production company. So the business model. So Joel came up with the idea to call ourselves This Empty Vessel. So basically, what we do is we take our skill set, which is the vessel, and then we take a vocalist, and we'll have varying vocalists, and we bring them in, and we fill the vessel with their voice. We write the songs, we produce them, and we bring them in and have them filled out. So the first vocalist that we've used so far is Jennifer McLean. So that's for the first one. As for how we know each other, we go way back.
Long story.
Yeah,
That's
Long
cool.
time.
I'll let you know.
So I met Jay in like 1989-ish, 88,
Oh, wow.
89. We lived in Jacksonville, formed a band there, signed a record deal, and ended up moving to Nashville in 96. So we had publishing, management, and a label here, and been doing music kind of on and off ever since. There was a huge hiatus we took. It's like I raised kids, and then he raised kids, and you're still raising kids.
I am.
So
That's funny.
we just had an idea a couple of years ago to get together, start writing again. But again, it's really about bringing up an artist that we think is either worthy of coming up or we admire, and filling the vessel up with somebody new each time. It'll stretch us out as producers. It'll raise them up as artists, and it just kind of helps us all be a part of something that's current. If
That's
that
very
makes
unique.
sense.
That's
Yeah,
very
no
unique.
live shows. Definitely, and no intention of doing live shows. But I get the best high of my life when I'm in the studio, and there's an energy there, and people are working together, we're collaborating, and we're working with different people. So that's kind of the gist of it.
And the bad thing about musicians is we can't just hang out
Yeah.
because we're old friends.
Yeah.
I mean, really old friends. We go back a long time, and we can't just hang out. I mean, we do. We'll hang out, go out to eat and stuff like that. But we're musicians first, so we feel much more comfortable if we have our instruments in our hands and we're playing and we're talking to each other. That's how we communicate with each other. So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so we're going to hang out together. Why don't we be productive?
What instruments do y'all all play?
I play guitar.
Guitar?
Yeah, I play keys.
Keys.
Drums.
Drums.
Oh, wow.
Nice. My
Full
brother
package.
likes drums. He's trying to
One
get
of the
into
best drummers in my honest opinion, in the world. One of the
Hands down.
funkiest, in the pocket, craziest. Wes is phenomenal.
So any musicians
Nice.
listening or watching in this, they'll understand this. Wes Bishop is the only musician I've ever worked with that I never had to say anything to him about what he was doing.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's a good compliment.
it. That's a pretty good compliment.
He
Yeah.
tells me all the time to stop what I'm doing.
There's something about working with these two guys. This little unit that we have here, it just clicks, man. It just, when you're with those right people, when you're playing, when everything just vibes right and everything just feels like you're just on top of the world, man. And everything, we don't conflict that. There's no conflict, controversy between us, or we just have a good time, and it just always goes the way we want it to go.
That's cool.
That's
Doesn't
great.
get any better than that.
Because you hear like horror stories of bands just hating each other.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I've
they
been
feel
there.
obligated. You been there?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
absolutely.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
about that. That's crazy.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it kind of comes with the turf a lot of the time. And Gerald and I have had to work with musicians where it's been a chore.
Well,
but
Yeah.
and then we don't work with those
and
musicians
then we don't
anymore.
work with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, life's too
Yeah.
short
Yeah.
to just have
Yeah.
to put up.
And
with
when
anything.
you're playing out on the road and you're doing the full-time musician thing and you're just on the road all the time, the creativity gets lost. It just completely gets lost. But when you're able to create and write and just know that nobody's watching you, nobody's expecting anything from you, it's when your most artistic creativity comes out.
And we set the bar high. And it's nice to be working with people that can meet that bar. We
Yeah.
were
Oh, yeah.
we were really tough on ourselves. So this is
That's
not
good.
This is not one of these pastime things. When we sit down to do something, we do it right.
That's
good.
cool. It's cool to hear.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, for each album, you have a different vocalist. Is that the vision
Yeah.
for the project? Okay.
Absolutely.
That's
Now,
really
the-
cool. That's very unique. I
The
don't know if
first
I've ever
album we
heard that
did
before.
was us kind of getting to know each other again as writers. So we kind of went over the top and did a whole concept record. You know, so it's like 14 or 15. Was it 15?
15 tracks on
We
the
may
new
have
album.
went a little overboard.
Yeah.
I think it was just right
It
myself.
took me a
personally.
year and a half to mix it, but
Just because of the scope of everything.
yeah,
You're saying?
it was
Okay.
massive.
Yeah.
Wow.
So going forward again, the focus is 3 to 4 tracks and then move on. And again, the hope is it elevates us as writers because we're with different personalities each time. So
That's very
That's cool.
unique.
yeah.
While at the same time giving artists an opportunity to branch out and
Yeah.
try something different.
Yep.
And it's considered a collab album, then, correct? With these artists
I mean,
that take
even
over.
the way we structure, like the split is a quarter all the way through.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's like there's no guesswork. They don't feel like they're going to get taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Wow.
We bring them in, we write a contract. We're going to quarter this, and we get going.
So what
So-
is that? Sorry.
No,
no,
you
you're
go.
good. So what's that process like when you're finding somebody? Does it usually is it a happy balance? Is like they come to you? Usually,
We
know
usually just
people.
stand out on the street. And
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
That
No.
guy looks like a rock star.
He plays the violin really well. Yeah.
Gerald found Jennifer McLean for
Yeah,
us.
she's
So-
an old friend of mine, and it's
Wow.
like
Okay.
we brought in a younger person that was going to start off, and she was great. It wasn't her genre, so it didn't really work out pretty quickly. We needed to fill it, and my friend Jennifer's done some things for me in the past, and we just brought her in, and she killed it.
And that's another thing about this project is we're not pigeonholed into when we first got our first contract back in the day. You had to stick. This is what you do. This is only what you do. Don't do anything different.
Right.
And now we can switch from projects. So the next project, like we'll just call it an EP that we're going to be doing. It's going to be different than the album that we just completed.
Yeah.
So it'll be a different. And we're taking the things that we love and making an amalgamation of it and making our own sound for that. But it's a different east west. It'll go. You know, one of the things I hated about working with record companies and things in the past is that they lock you in.
Yeah.
They lock you in. It's like, no, that's not what you do. You make peanut butter cookies. This is a chocolate chip cookie. I don't want you to make a chocolate chip cookie. And I'm like, we're gonna do that with pecans too, son. Next time, you know.
Yeah,
So yeah.
That's cool. I've heard a little bit about that. I'm not from the music industry or grew up around it, so I don't know particularly a lot about it. But from what I've heard of people talking about labels and such, they've talked about how much a lot of times they pigeonhole artists into doing a specific style. And, you know, as creatives, I'm sure you can aware that like you get bored of the same thing over and over.
Yeah,
again.
you don't eat the same food every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, you might love steak, but you
Yeah.
don't want to eat steak every day.
True,
You know?
yeah.
That's true.
I can't eat steak every day. I can't afford it. But
Yeah.
I don't. You know what? If I was had my pockets buttered, I don't think I would like
Pockets
steak all day. Yeah.
So this new album that came out a couple weeks ago is called NOD.
Nod.
Nod. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what was the you have a specific like theme, mood that came with the album?
Okay, so the album it's stationed kind of like a book, so it has a beginning and an end. So it's actually the first track on the album is called Prologue. Okay, there was an epilogue, but I changed it to Home. But anyway, it's basically it's a collection of when you sleep at night and you have dreams, and I put a tying theme into the different dreams. So each track is kind of like a dream of its own.
Okay.
So you have a beginning and an end, and it tells all the personal relationships and things that come with that.
Cool. So you're telling a story.
Yes. Yeah, this album is telling a story. We did not initially intend on doing that. It
Interesting.
just kind of happened. So we started woodshedding on songs and stuff, and the theme started coming back up again, and I was like, we can do something with this. And then, like Gerald said, it took us a year and a half. So
Wow.
if we'd had to work on this album any longer, there would have been gunplay involved. So
So
Like I
the-
said, no conflict.
Yeah. No conflict.
So the story of this album, was it stories from all of y'all, from one of y'all specifically?
It's really primarily Jay's.
Jay's?
lyrically,
Yeah.
I do most of the heavy lifting on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but when I say that this is a collaboration, nothing goes through without all three of us signing off on it. You know,
Nice.
and actually, Jennifer, she took exception to the lyrics on one of the songs, and we had to go back and rewrite it entirely.
Yep.
didn't
She's
feel
like, I
comfortable
can't
with
sing that.
I can't say
Wow.
I was like, okay.
okay, then we won't do it. Yeah. So it's a collaboration all the way. One person will get something going, and then go, okay, I like this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when you trust the people that you're working with, that's a lot of fun when that starts happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because there was one track, maybe, and we sat down and G and I were sitting, and Wes was laying the drums in, and he was like, "I want to try something different here," and he put it in, and I'm like, "You ever seen, when a dog hears something they don't know what?" They kind of
Yeah.
tilt their head.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, I was like, "What was that?" And immediately G said, "You said I like it."
Yeah, let's
He
do
said,
that.
he said, "Let's do that." It's my favorite part of the song now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it makes that song sing. So it's
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
at the chorus. It's a breakdown thing that he does, and it's wonderful. It's very cool. So anyway, I've talked enough.
No, that's the power of podcasting. You can talk as much as you
Yeah.
want.
I can talk and whatever. How'd y'all get into music when y'all were young? How'd y'all get to music?
I grew up in Detroit, so
Okay.
and I had some really good luck. We were 15 and really into electronic music, and there was a big Detroit techno movement back in the 80s. We were the only all kid electronic band that was in town, basically. So we got an opportunity to open up for all the big electronic bands that came through. And then out of high school, I got to do some work on one of Prince's movies with George Clinton. So it's there was some really cool things that happened.
Soul Psychedelicide.
Yeah, the song was called Soul Psychedelicide. It didn't even make it onto the movie, but a lot of things that helped me kind of get into music and just kind of establish it. And then something caught my wind, and I moved to Jacksonville, kind of put a stop to my career, which is insane. And I met Jay. So it was almost a meant to be thing. And then I met my wife a few months later, a couple of years later, got married. But and then we've just been kind of at it ever since. We've done records for, a lot of different people. Some Christian artists. We had some number ones there. We produced a lot of kids groups, and we just did a lot of stuff.
We've worked with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun. Now Wes, we met Wes. Was it 96, 97?
Sure, why not?
Okay, we're gonna go with that. So, we'd had bad luck with drummers. We've
Spinal Tap kind of bad.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
yeah,
And bass
yeah,
players.
yeah. And Wes came in, and he brought a kick, a snare, and a hat. That was it.
I answered an ad in the paper.
Yeah, he had answered.
Oh,
it.
wow.
He came in with a kick, a snare, and a hat, and he sat down. Everybody else wanted to be Neil Peart,
Yeah.
but he came in with
Like
just
screwing in the 4-inch tom.
yeah, he's like 17 different cymbals
Yeah.
up front and the rototoms and everything else. No,
He
Wes
brought a
did
trap kit, which is my kind of guy.
Yeah, and get ready to beat me. Wes beat their ass. Red. Yeah.
Wow.
So when he left the room, I was like, I don't know what we got to do, but we got to do whatever we can. We got to hold on to that guy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man.
for sure.
Yeah.
They think highly of you. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's,
a little too high sometimes.
No, it's all deserved. Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
I'm a drum programmer, and I've always programmed my own drums. So for me to relinquish control, when I hand it off to him, I'm like, I wouldn't have thought of that, So, yeah. Drummer,
Yeah.
mechanical drum machine, So
that's funny.
he's
You're in the right room with people.
yeah.
When you feel a little intimidated where they're pushing you, then you're in the room with the right people.
I can imagine music too, and like I said, I'm not a musician, but I can imagine music is sort of like that, where there's no designed way you can go about making a song. It just kind of happens, right?
That's the
like you said,
amazing part about it.
yeah, it's
is,
the beautiful
it
part about
just, it's an energy. It's almost like I hate to be too weird, but it's like an intelligent energy. It's like it just comes to be, and it shows itself, and you're like, yep,
Yeah.
you're with us, and we work it through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd been playing on the road for a long time with all different bands, all different genres of music, everything from country and western to speed metal,
Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, because I always opened myself up to as many different styles of music that I could. That way I would always work, that kind of thing. And so did that for a long time, playing in bars when I was really, really young. I was fortunate to be able to play with musicians that were always much older than me and much better than me. So they taught me along the way, because I'm actually a Tennessee native.
Oh, wow.
And so being from Tennessee at the time, back in the 80s, there wasn't a lot of drummers at the time, but there was a lot of guitar players, everywhere, kind of thing. And so whenever these cats would find a drummer that they liked, they would just, grab onto them as quick as. So I can remember playing in bars like at 15 years old and having to hide behind the bar when the cops would come in and do their rounds, and then I would go and then I'd go back up and play for another 45-minute set, that
awesome.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can even remember doing homework in a bar.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Which I was not a fan of, but anyway.
No, that doesn't seem like the most studious environment you got going on. No.
But my parents were cool about it, man. They were just like, because I was not the most enterprising young man when it comes to education. So I knew I was going to be a musician, and that was it, And my parents finally were just like, well, it doesn't look like he's going to do anything else but music, so we better just start supporting that.
How old were you when you realized I'm doing music?
I was 13.
13. Okay, so pretty young.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's as far as professionally. That's when I was like, okay.
That's kind of lucky because like a lot of people like wait till college, heck, even after college, but like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
So you feel pretty lucky. Like I'm doing this.
Yeah, it's been a good run. But anyway, meeting these guys was such a blessing, and we just clicked automatically. And we played in a really heavy industrial band for a pretty good while, and then we all went our separate ways for a little while, and then we always stayed in touch, that kind of thing. And then we just kind of drifted back together, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I think when you take the element of like not having to do live shows off the table, it gets a lot easier because everyone's like, we got to figure out how to do this live, and it's like we don't have to figure that out anymore. We just write, So
because I can remember back in the day when, as a live band, the three of us were like, okay, well, we got to look like this. We got to do this. We
were drill sergeants.
We got to impress, the next record label and all this kind of stuff. And it was.
We rehearsed.
It wasn't. Yeah, we rehearsed a lot.
5 nights a week, guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
5 to 4 nights a week. And this is
Yeah.
and poor Gerald. He was having kids at the time, and he got married.
painful.
Yeah, I waited. I waited until we were done before I got married and had kids.
Wow.
Yeah, because
How many hours were these practice sessions?
2 to 3.
Yeah, 2 to 3
Okay.
hours.
2 to 3.
They were long.
Okay.
Wow.
So and then we would mix writing in there when we could, and stuff at the same time. And yeah, you really gotta love somebody to do that. Spend that much time with them.
Yeah.
You
I
really,
can
really
imagine.
do. And it's stressful. And a terrible thing happened in the early 2000s where the music industry just kind of changed. And we had worked our way up through the clubs and stuff, and we were really on our way and stuff. And the industry just completely changed. It got gutted, and it was next to impossible to make a living out of it.
Gutted in what way?
Well, like Napster occurred for
Yeah.
starters.
Okay.
Napster.
Yeah.
So
If you guys
the
remember, it's
streaming.
like
Yeah.
you could, when you wouldn't even stream it back in those days, like you just go download
That's right.
for free,
Digital.
for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get like sued later, but it's like it was one of the first things that happened to the industry where, like back in our day, like you could live for 10 years off a single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can live for about 10 minutes. If you've got enough streams to support that. So
And it was all radio back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when K-Rock and all these other, so that it ended up going down to 2 or 3 different stations that were doing the programming for the entire United States.
Wow.
And there's only a handful of people that were doing. So they weren't interested in new artists.
Yeah.
They were interested in the artists that they had invested money in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they don't. It happened in the early 2000s, and it changed. The industry's still.
Well, that's
changed.
also why we moved to primarily European labels because
Yeah.
like even the last record deal that I signed for a label in England, the contracts are so much simpler. It's like
Oh, really?
10 pages versus 100 pages
Why-
here.
Why is
Wow.
that? Why is it
I-
the case here?
I don't here. It's like they want to own everything.
Okay.
If you see the word like in perpetuity in any contract, that
Yeah.
means
Okay.
that means
The
forever.
universe.
Yeah.
Through
Yeah.
the entire universe.
Yeah,
They put that in
forever. Yeah,
Wow.
Through the entire universe.
The
So
European
what is
deals
that?
we signed were like, you guys write music, we'll put it out,
Yeah.
and we'll split it. That's kind of what a lot of the European deals are like.
Wow.
And American
Yeah.
deals are like, you guys write music, and when your kids write music in the future, we're going to keep all of that,
That's crazy.
and you'll get a 6-pack of
That's
beer and
crazy.
some Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
and you'll like it.
And not only that, now
Yes,
we're
I
going
will.
to take some of your merch.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
That was crazy.
Because
Yeah.
in the back in the day,
Like-
you're pretty much glorified T-shirt.
Yeah,
mug,
you're making
coffee
money off
mug
t-shirts.
salesmen. That's
Yeah.
what we were.
Yeah.
We would make a majority of our money off the merch.
Wow.
Now the labels is like,
They
well,
want
we're
that.
not making enough money off record sales, so we're going to need some of that merch too.
Take your merch too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So-
they go in like in the contract they go in and like try
Yeah.
to take that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Corporate greed, right there.
So has
Yeah,
the I'm interested in y'all's perspective. You said the industry has changed since the around 2000s. Have you seen it like? Is it like?
I think it's
scrambling
better.
And betting. Is it
I
better
think
now?
it's better now.
Better now. Okay.
I think it's much better now. So,
Charles not so
Two
sure.
different
well,
perspectives.
it's not the glory days like it was
It's not.
before,
This-
but we have more ownership now.
We
artists,
do.
artists
Yeah,
as
yeah.
as a whole have more ownership, right? So, and technology is there's good and there's bad things with
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
But technology has allowed us to swing fists with the heavyweights.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
so
Great.
like let's take this new album. We've been pushing singles now for 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months.
We have over 500,000 views and likes on social media.
It's great.
Nice.
Nobody helped us. We did that
Wow.
all on our own.
So like no
great.
marketing. You just
no
y'all.
marketing, just us.
So
That's
we
good.
went into this pretty blind when
Pretty
it comes to
blind.
Yeah.
But, like he,
Yeah.
he really killed the marketing. He did a fantastic.
great.
Like
Wow.
I'm like, you know, you
You just
found
took the
a
bull by
gifting.
the horns,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
and just went in there and
Yeah,
got it
we
done.
I was like, this is not that hard. We can do this.
Well,
We can
that's what's interesting too, because we had on a country artist named Brett Mondi a couple weeks ago, and what we talked about a little bit was nowadays you kind of have to be the marketer and
Mhm.
the
Labels
musician.
don't sign people unless
Yeah.
you've got 1 million followers already on your own.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
just a shame.
Yeah, and the other
Yes,
thing
yeah.
that's interesting about what's going on in the industry is there's very few bands
Yeah.
these days. It is Chuck Williams and it's Debbie Jones. It's the single artist.
Yeah.
Because labels find it easy. Instead of having a band where an artist takes off, they go, you know, the lead singer's really good. Let's do something with them later.
Yeah.
They just take that lead singer and they do it now. And they get rid of the band. So I did a study on like the top 300 on Billboard. I think out of all 300, there was like 4 or 5 bands, and that was it.
That's crazy. I
So-
think I've had a similar conversation
Yeah.
with my dad about that because he's into music and he worked in Christian music a little bit.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that the other day. There's no bands. It's just
But
a
there's a
singular
lot of
game.
bands in the scene. You know, it's
Okay.
like there's nothing but bands in the local scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when it
Yeah.
comes to like big deals and artists, it's the artist, you know.
Yeah.
But and Jay was saying it's like the technology's gotten so good. Like we can pay a service, not much money, and we can release our record, get it out, promote, and do well with it.
Yeah.
But the problem is like everybody can do that now, so the pool is full.
Yeah.
With a bunch of stuff nobody's ever going to know exist. Most of it's trap. But it's like everybody can release. So it's like, yeah, I'm dropping this single, and it's like, to who?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You dropping it to grandma?
Yeah.
Because she's going to, you know.
You're gonna consume it.
I've always, just me personally, but I've always believed that, and maybe I'm even in my age, I'm a little naive. I've always believed that cream rises to the top. If you can pen a good song and you have good artists doing it,
I agree.
it's what's the saying? You separate the wheat from the chaff. Is that what
Yeah.
That if you're doing something that means something to you and it's good and you know it's good,
Yep.
then I have to believe that that's how artists separate themselves from other people.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder how's been the feedback from the new album? People like in certain songs. Good feedback, hopefully.
It seems like a lot of the songs are relatable to people, and because, like Jay was saying, how a lot of it is about dream sequences and that kind of thing. It's like it's just not something a lot of people talk about, but we all have it,
Yeah.
And so a lot of it's relatable, and so I get a lot of feedback, and I think we've seen a lot of feedback about people like clutching onto that type of identity.
Yeah, there's some themes in there that run with people, and they resonate with people, and it's worked out pretty good so far. We've gotten a lot of really good reaction online. I'm still getting used to the doing things online to funnel it to Spotify and iTunes and all that other stuff. And so when I see stuff, I have to go online to see it, and which can be a dangerous thing. But I don't recommend it for the weak of heart. Overwhelmingly, we're getting good comments and stuff like that. People seem to be identifying with the album, which I'm extremely thankful for that. It's
great,
man.
It's great to see something like that happen. And
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy and proud of the album, and I can't wait to do the next EP. So
That's
Well,
great.
Speaking of the next one, like how far ahead on you are that? Are you still focused on kind of the aftermath of this past album, or are you already on the next one?
I'm gonna be honest. So I've started pinning about 3 weeks ago. Gerald started pinning a couple weeks ago. Wes is
The
probably
grooves are in my head.
Yeah.
That's good. That's cool.
So do we want to say who the next artist is going to be?
Probably not yet.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
Yeah, we have a guy lined up, and he's agreed to do it. But let's make sure we can close the deal. But he's from what I've heard, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's a great vocalist.
Cool.
And so we're trying to custom this towards his personality. And
Yeah, he and I've done some work in the past, kind of 80s stuff, and it's a lot of
Oh.
fun. So we're
Cool.
gonna kind of go in a newer version, like 80s, kind of new wave-ish.
Wow.
Cool.
we've always wanted to take something from our past
Yeah,
and make it modern and mix it with stuff that's new now. So
Yeah.
like if you could take like a new wave sound and mix it with like heavy metal in certain sections, or take like a soul or funk thing and mix it with something else. You know what I mean? My heroes, when I was growing up, that's what they did. They would mix styles. And when you do that, you kind of come up with something. Nothing's entirely new, but you kind of come up. It's kind of like fusion. I keep on going back to food references. I must be hungry. It's kind of like fusion food.
Yeah.
You got cookies in your pocket over there? What's going on?
This guy was starving when he did that.
It's like chicken teriyaki sounding.
Right, right.
Yeah.
broccoli mint.
Yeah.
They just put it-
Wow. Yeah.
So we'll hang on to announce
To
it.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
But we're really close. I've already
Yeah.
confirmed with him he wants to do it. We're only going to do 3 to 4 songs this time. That's going to be the format going forward. 3 to 4 next artist.
So no more longer.
No, not for now.
Not
No,
unless
no,
something
no,
really
no, thank
dramatic
you.
happens where we're like, we got to do it. But no, that was a year and a half.
Yeah.
And that's
A lot of mixing.
And what's crazy is the album literally just came out.
Wow.
We just dropped the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us, it seems like it's been an eternity.
Yeah.
Having that
Yeah.
album already out there. And especially releasing singles over the last 6 months. It's we're just waiting for that album to come out.
Yeah.
And actually drop. So,
so I think we did 5 singles
Wow.
and promoted each one.
yeah.
Wow.
It was cool though. We were able to plant the seed, and now we get to watch it grow.
That's
Mhm.
cool.
And it's
Yeah.
it's growing as it's going downhill. It's getting bigger and bigger, like the old was it the snowball, and
Yeah.
it gets in.
we also got to listen to our publisher, and they had a very specific plan of attack. So we had to kind of sit back and digest, go, but I want to do it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
like,
can imagine.
it's like there's a whole system of this. We're going to do this
Yeah.
the right
Yeah.
way.
There's a reason they do what they do.
And we're
That's right.
thankful for that. We're thankful for old Skippy.
Skip,
Oh, Skippy.
Skip, yeah,
Skippy.
I love
yeah.
him. He's
Skippy set the rules down, and we followed him. So he was right. He was absolutely, he's 100% correct.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I met him a time or two in my
I'm
life.
sure, yeah.
A couple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna watch this and laugh, so that'd be great.
Yeah. So there's a song called "Clean" on your album. Can y'all explain?
So
Clean?
that's the last track on the
Yeah.
album. That's the closer.
Yeah.
So
It's one of my favorites.
One of your favorites.
Yeah.
So Clean is about it takes place outside of Heaven's Gates.
Mm.
Okay. So this is a person, and there's somebody behind the gates. I don't want to get too personal in who the person is, but there's somebody behind the gates, and they've wronged you in the past.
Is it me?
We're gonna make things clean right now.
Sorry.
Joe. I
just realized it.
So basically, the gist of it is that you put your differences behind, and you burn it clean. You get to back. The line is you get back to what it was like when you first meet somebody. You have to take, even though you have all that debris and damage and stuff that was done over time.
Yeah.
You have to learn to be able to go back and just cut it loose. And we're all God's children, so that means He loves us all the same, no matter what mistakes we make. So. But it's hard as a person to get to that point.
Yeah.
A lot of and the first next time I see you, I'll be standing outside of Heaven's Gates, wrapping up my bloody knuckles and looking for your face.
Mm.
Mm.
I mean, so that's so it's getting from that anger to now it's clean. We're done. We're good with it. So yeah, that was the that's the and I like that was the first one we recorded with was it Japanese Tile?
I think it was Clean.
I think you're right.
Tile was second.
She did a wonderful job on
Yeah,
that
she's
song.
incredible.
Yeah, she did a wonderful job.
So I'm curious too, when you're writing, how far will you go in terms of personal details? Probably not names, correct? But that's about as far.
I won't use so this is funny. I haven't even told you this. So Joey's getting mad again.
What's he keeping back from us?
Joey's getting mad again. No, actually, this is funny. It's not too serious. Joey's getting mad again is a song about abuse, and the original was Jimmy's getting mad again, and it was my father.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I couldn't do it because here's the funny part. Do you remember Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah.
And he would always, whenever you would get mad, be like, "Kick me in the Jimmy." So every time I would be sort of, Jimmy's getting, and I'd have that vision in my head, for Beavis and Butthead. I was like, we can't go there. We can't do that. So
These guys are too young for Beavis and Butthead. They're like,
I know who Beavis and Butthead
Yeah, I know who
is.
he did. Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
They did a sketch on SNL about
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, with
yeah.
Ryan
Yeah,
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So they had a skit where there was a Marine or something in there. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
And he'd be like, whenever he would want to prove how strong he was, he would like, well, kick me in the Jimmy. So the guy
No,
would rub
actually,
him.
he said, "Kick me in the Jimmy." That's pretty much how it went down.
I apologize for
I
that.
appreciate the spirit to that,
Yeah.
though. It's more
Yeah.
descriptive.
I personally can't. I don't think that you can't write. It's easier to write personal stuff than it is to make stuff up, and because people can smell through it. They could tell it's fake. You could tell when something's real and when it's not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that goes back to the energy that you guys were talking about, how you don't necessarily know how it happens, just kind of comes together.
Yeah.
You can't force that, I can imagine, and that's part of drawing from real life experiences, right? Is being able to kind of channel that energy. You can't do that inorganically, I guess. So
No, well, you can, but you can't, it's hard to pull it
Yeah.
off. It's really hard to pull
Okay.
off. When we were working on I'm not going to say who the label. We were working on a project, and they would come up to us and they'd be like, "Write us a song like this, or write us a song like that."
Make it sound like this artist.
wow.
Exactly. Or and the content. This is what the content has to be.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, we would not have any emotional resonance with the content at all.
Yeah.
No matter what. I mean, and we'd be like, how are we going to pull this off? And make it sound genuine. You know what I mean? And it's a chore. It's really a
imagine.
chore. Yeah. So, but a lot of record execs and stuff like that, they're like, this BPM,
Yeah.
this style, in 3 days.
Wow.
And
Go.
that's hard to go.
Yeah.
And that's
crazy.
hard. That's
I
hard.
can imagine.
And then you do it, they go, I just listened to it and I'm not feeling it. Go, we weren't feeling it either, buddy.
Yeah.
So
Wow. And is that special now that you're in the place in your careers where you're able to do that?
yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, the other part of it is like, being a little bit older, it's
Yeah.
like you get to a place where it's not about trying to impress somebody, but trying to write the best art that you can. And it's like, we have so many tools we didn't have in our 20s and early 30s.
Mhm.
Like all the technology we have, like, orchestra at our fingertips. And he plays a digital drum kit, but I could bring that kit in and separate it out by all the drum sounds
Yeah.
and by different rooms and different microphones
Wow.
digitally. And then I can mix our records in some of the best studios in the world because I have a set of headphones that emulates those things. Those things didn't exist before. So it's like we have all these beautiful tools and time, and not somebody sitting on our shoulders saying, can you make it sound like Prince? Or can you make it sound like whatever? Because our answer to that is like, no, we're going to make it'll always be what it is to be. It's like, even if you go out and do a cover of a song, it'll never sound like that song. It'll be something new because it's you doing that thing. So, that's a long ways to go, but it's like, we're really at this place where it's like,
We're better.
better writers.
We're better writers and we're better musicians now too. When we were younger, it was straight up ambition and drive, and we had love. I mean, love for what we were doing, but there was a little luck involved in there when you would pull out a good. We would do 8 or 9, 10 songs, and 2 of them would be good.
Yeah.
Now the average is a lot higher because we're like, okay, this is not working. I'm not even.
Now there's 3 really good ones now.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we can comfortably toss things.
Well, and we're not starving anymore. When we were young, we were starving, man.
Yeah.
Just starving to be that band, to have that fame, to have that attention, to be on that record label. Now you just don't care. You're just
It's
like,
a lot of
we
pressure.
can just do whatever we want, and who whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
a lot of pressure.
As
for
long
young
as
men.
we love it, that's what it's all about. Because there's always going to be somebody out there for your music. There's always going to be somebody. And like, I can listen to bands and I'm just like, what is that? But they've got this ridiculous following,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Because there's always somebody that gravitates to your music,
Yep.
And I think that's great. There's, that's the way it should be.
I'm interested. When y'all like say sit home at your house, what do y'all like to listen to? What band? What artists? What do y'all like to listen to, relax to, whatever?
I still like to find new stuff.
I do too.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Go ahead.
you're fine.
What are you gonna say?
Well, I still like to listen to Johnny Cash.
Johnny, oh yeah,
Amen.
oh
Tremendous
yeah.
Scroll nut
I'm-
zipper.
I'm in the process right now of listening to Johnny Cash reads the New Testament,
Oh
and
wow.
just because his voice is so
Wow.
just relaxing,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
makes it so
Yeah.
perfect.
That's
Yeah.
really cool, especially like that. I would be interested in even listening to that myself, because even listening to him like sing "Ain't No Grave" is almost like a
Yes.
apocalyptic like revelation type of story.
Absolutely.
So that's really
Absolutely.
cool.
Part of the problem is like I'll find somebody new, like some new band, and I'll wear it the freak out.
Mhm.
There's a band called Everything Everything, and it's like I just love Everything Everything. Then I found they've been out for a while. Wet Leg. It's like I've worn
They're
that
big
out.
right
So
now.
it's like being older and finding younger people doing really cool stuff is really cool. But I listen to it to death, and then I don't ever hear it again. So I'm like,
Wow, yeah.
and I'm back on podcast and books. Like usually it's like podcast on cryptids and Bigfoot and UFOs.
Oh yeah,
That's
the good stuff.
when
Those
I'm
are the fun
driving. That's
stuff.
what I want to hear
Who
about.
wants
yeah.
to listen
The
to a
Y
boring
files. Yeah.
accounting podcast? That's my question.
Accounting.
I listened to an actuary talk about his work.
Actually, I have a very hermetic job, so I don't have to really mingle with the bipeds very much. I go to work at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Great song title. Mingling with
And so I
bipeds.
wear out iTunes and Spotify and stuff. And actually, about 10 or 15 years ago, about 10 years ago, I started to listen. I would just pick an artist from my childhood, and I would listen to their entire catalog all the way through. And then I would pick the next, and I did this, and I would go over and over and over again. I would go over, okay, what? And I would listen to the albums in the order in which they released them in the track order. I would never skip.
Yeah.
It's kind of like going back to school. And I fell back in love with music doing that. And then I started teaching myself, okay, I hate this band. I can't stand it, but they're huge. Look at this Fallen guy. And I will force myself to sit down and listen to them all the way from start to finish. Why?
And 4 months
Why?
later, he was an Ace Base fan.
They don't know who Ace of Base
I
is.
know.
I don't.
You're not missing anything. Oh, I'm sorry. Whoever. I don't know.
That's funny.
Got me in trouble. So I kind of I view those things as kind of like school, because there's so much stuff out there. It's so amazing. It's so amazing that you have so that's the greatest thing about this technology. Now, we're not getting paid off of it. So if I'm not going to get paid off of it, there's a movie, was it Seven? Where
What's in the box?
yeah, that movie. Morgan Freeman walks in the library, and there's these security guards are in there. He's going in there to do research. I don't know if you guys have seen. Seven
I saw it on IMAX recently, so I got to.
Wonderful. So he
re-release
walks
it.
in. He
Yeah.
goes, gentlemen, all this culture, and I'm paraphrasing here. All this stuff at your hands, and you're playing cards, and they're in this library filled with stuff, and that's the way I feel about
Like
like
he's
Spotify
referencing
and
me
stuff.
again.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
So-
Yeah.
Are you referencing me again?
no, why?
Okay. You're
Why
like
would I be referencing?
talking about how great music is and all you do.
Yeah.
I just feel like you're
I
picking
listen.
on
I
me.
listen to podcasts and audiobooks too, brother.
Okay.
that's good.
I've reached the point now I have to break it up. You can't,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can't do the entire Led Zeppelin every day. You have to break it up.
Entire-
That's a little much on the heart, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to be around people who have different music tastes than I do, because me and Aaron, we have different music tastes. I'm more of like I like more rock and country, and Aaron, you like more like what would you say, like hip hop and
Or like a lot of
R&B?
R&B.
Yeah, R&B.
A lot of smoother.
Yeah. yeah. And my brother, he likes like more pop punk, rock, punk rock type
Cool.
stuff. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
But that's why there's different music,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like because we're all into different things.
yeah.
So
And
Almost did a
people's-
food analogy, Gabe.
Don't do it,
stopped
man.
Myself. I
it's
stopped
just like how gerbils,
Yeah.
they love to have a good carrot.
And people's music taste and genres can change, because I've
True,
seen my
yeah.
dad when I was younger listen to like mostly just rock,
Yep.
And now he like sometimes he's like listening to Morgan Wallen. I'm like, you never like listened to country till like a couple of years ago. So it's interesting to see like a shift.
Yeah.
Like when things get popular, like Morgan Wallen and
I
other
went into
artists.
like I've listened to a lot more soundtrack and score,
Mhm.
and I'm learning to orchestrate, and it's a whole different way of thinking. So it's like when I'm not listening to something kind of poppy, I'm like deep scores, like
Wow.
how they're building soundtracks for movies, and it's amazing.
And I firmly believe that you have to know where music came from, to where it is today. So it's like I remember an interview with John Lennon, and he was talking about how like Chubby Checker and those guys. He talked about how those writers way back in the day, they wrote these simple, hooky songs. He goes, but it's so hard to write that simple, hooky song.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe I need to go back. So I started going back, way back. And I even started listening to big band stuff. Just to see, as an artist, it feeds your soul. It really does. It really does. And next thing you know, oh wow, I put this into a song, or this influence came from there, and that it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, I think we should all branch out and listen to all different styles of music, because there's so much stuff out there you just don't know what you're missing, half the time. But then that's why I can listen to R&B, I can listen to soul funk, I can listen to metal, because it's all music and it's all coming from somewhere, and everybody's got something to say, and it's just most of the time it's from the heart, especially if you're listening to B-sides or something like that. Which I hope you guys know what B-sides are.
It's like the double album sort of thing, right?
Yes, that's it. Right. So it's just I listen to a lot of instrumental music, because I'm not a lyricist like Jay and Gerald. I just love music in general, and so I listen to a lot of instrumental stuff. But then I'll listen to stuff like I'll see like your shirt says 21 Pilots,
Yes,
and
sir.
It's a great band.
stuff those
I got
cats
a concert.
do, It's just really cool stuff. And a lot of bands you're seeing now are fighting the system as far as the instrumentation goes. Like back in the day, you couldn't imagine having a band without a bass player, or you couldn't imagine
They're a two-piece.
It's like
Two-piece,
what?
yeah.
That's insane,
They kill
But
it.
somehow they've figured out how to do it, and I totally respect that,
It's cool. Yeah. It's cool to just see, and I'm young, so I'm still witnessing new music and also consuming older music too, and it's cool to see the deep history that music has with reflecting your soul, or the artist's soul.
Yep. Amen.
And I think the older I get, the more I can appreciate it more. And even talking with Logan a little bit, because he did mention we both have two different music styles, but since we started our business and going on these longer car rides, or we're going from client to client, it has been interesting to kind of listen to, for example, he showed me a little bit of George Strait, right? You showed me a little bit
of George Strait, a little bit
George
of
Strait.
Hank Williams Jr.
See, I do a little bit of writing too, and I put together a country playlist that fits the vibe of what I'm writing. And that kind of opened the door too in some aspects. So yeah, just being older and being open has always, I've learned, created more experiences that aren't even just necessarily related to music. It's helped me write too.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. to
Yeah.
see.
That's very
Hank
cool.
Williams. That's what remember I told you when we first got out there. Hank Williams' house used to be right over there.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Wow.
And they had to tear it down. They tore it. They sold it and they tore it down. And they put the statue up, and
Okay.
that's how it's
Yeah.
all developed now.
Yeah.
But we had a studio on. Well, I'm not gonna say what the address was, but we had a studio not too far from here. You could hit it with a golf ball from here.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And we had one there for about 7-8 years, and it was catty corner. That house was catty corner to long before this place
A
got
lot of sessions in that studio.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So this thing behind you, this is Whitney. This used to be Whitney
about to say that.
Houston's.
Yeah, this is like kind of early '90s SSL console. Came out of Whitney Houston's basement.
Wow.
A lot of history and story. This is a fantastic board. When I was interning back in my day, we had SSL stuff. So it's like even the software that I write in has an SSL board in it. So it's like this is my kind of heaven. Old analog board. You could feel the heat coming off it when you get close to
wow.
it.
Nice.
We had it service recently. It's probably running better than it's ever run. So it's warm. It's beautiful.
It's
Wow.
intimidating.
It's
seeing
not
all
though.
the-
Okay, so the cool thing about these boards is if you learn what one channel does,
Okay.
they're
Yeah.
all the
Doing
same.
thing. It's just
Okay,
a bunch
that
of
makes sense.
Yeah,
doing the
it's
same
all
thing.
the same.
Okay.
The reason why you would need so many is like if you're doing things like recording drums, it typically takes 16 microphones to do
Yeah.
a good drum recording. You put
Wow.
one in the kick drum and out of the kick drum and under the snare and above the snare and low tom, mid tom, high tom, 2 crash cymbals, 2 ride cymbals, 2 overheads, and 2 room mics. So it's like that's going to take up a lot of real estate on this board.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So having access to something as historical as this, being in Whitney, Houston, but
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Was it donated here, or was it bought? or
It was bought.
It was bought. Okay,
Yeah,
Wow.
cool.
it was bought.
Cool, cool,
That's
cool.
cool.
We've come a long way since the Akai MG 1214, my brother.
Yeah, we had. I mean, we were
That was
lucky
a-
to have that. We had
That
a
was
12-track digital
Mhm.
recorder, but still used tape back in the day. And
it
it's
was
like
beta tape.
Yeah, it's basically beta tape.
Mhm.
We thought we were like spacemen.
We
'cause,
did. We
you know,
and we were.
we worked the heck out of
We
that
had the
thing.
shiny red wagon on the court. Boy.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and we talked a little bit about this before, but it's interesting to see what that little piece of gear, and gear isn't everything.
That's what you do with it.
It's what you do with
Exactly.
it. But sometimes it's that little piece of gear that really can change things. I remember for example, mine was my first cinema camera that I had, and that shot up my work. I mean, obviously going from an iPhone to a properly built camera,
Yeah.
the depth in the image. I can imagine it's the same way with a board. The
It
depth
is,
in the
yeah.
sound.
Now
you
it's
can
funny.
tell
It's
that.
like there's a lot of digital representations of this now through plugins, through software that are 99.999 is good.
Yeah.
But there's something to be in the presence of something like this, plugging in lines, tweaking the EQ, and it's like it's old school, but
Yeah.
it's like it's also if you have access, you should use it.
There's a
Yeah.
warmth. There's still a warmth
Oh,
that comes
yeah,
with it.
but it's
cool.
like we're so close.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not like
Yeah.
I said. I love technology, but there is a warmth to the
Yeah.
analog stuff that
You know,
that's hard to emulate. But
Yeah.
they're getting there. Say we had like over 500,000 likes. So I'll get thousands of people. They love it. And then there'll be that one or two guys. They'll be like AI. Somebody called me a wireback. I had to look it up and figure out what a wireback
I don't
was.
What does
even know
that- what does that even
Yeah,
mean?
what does that mean?
somebody that uses AI.
Somebody that
Oh.
uses
but it's
AI.
a derogatory.
It's not. It's not.
You have to be pretty deep in the internet.
Yeah.
You
to
yell at somebody in
use
the
that
car on the
term,
way
I
by.
feel like.
Wireback.
Wireback.
It's the
Yeah.
first time I've heard of it.
I'm sorry. I interrupted you, Wes. So,
No, you didn't interrupt me. We're
yeah,
good.
but but not. We don't do anything with AI on music. No.
Okay.
No.
Now,
but
I did try it out for fun just to see, and I was like, write me a metal song about making waffles. And it was good. It was like, get out the batter, mix it up. It's like, I was impressive, but I never thought it would be AI doing the creative stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be AI cleaning things and doing the manual labor.
Yeah.
But it's like everybody. I work with young artists all day long, and they're like, "I'm making a beat," and I'm like, "Well, where'd you get it?" Well, I used this AI program. I'm like, you're not making anything.
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
it's
You're not making
it, yeah.
anything. You're just claiming it.
But that's the thing about AI. It's like I think it's like anything else. It's how you use it. But I got to be honest with you. It's like, remember you sent me that thing, the Depeche Mode song that was like, they go, okay, here's a Depeche Mode song. Let's do it 50s style.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys don't know Depeche Mode. It's okay.
I've heard of him. That's
it's,
is
it's
it-
a
is it-
them. It's a
It's
them.
to them.
It's a them. Is it
Yeah.
a dance thing?
Yeah, it's like the biggest electronic band of all time. They fill up stadiums,
See, all I know
but
is
they write
Daft Punk,
songs.
so-
They don't. It's not like techno.
Okay. Okay.
They're songwriters. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It's
Um,
it's a European thing.
Okay.
Real quick, just to get
Yeah.
for me, not speaking for Wes, but for me and him.
Yeah.
In the 70s and the 80s, when here in the States, when people were listening to like Queen or the typical standard rock fare, which I don't have anything against.
Yep.
We were listening to like Thomas Dolby, Peter Gabriel,
Oh shoot! There you go.
I was at the show recently.
yeah, Psychedelic Furs, all
Yeah.
of these British
Yeah.
it was like the original alternative rock.
Yeah.
And they used to, back in the day when they had MTV, they had this show called 120 Minutes.
Yeah.
And it came on Sunday nights.
Yeah.
You waited for it.
And you
man.
waited
You
for
just
it.
Waited
It was
for
the
that
original
show.
college radio.
Wow.
And that's where you saw the cool stuff. You'd be like, oh my God. And that's out there. Meanwhile, they're playing Whitney Houston stuff on top 40 radio.
Yeah.
So we were driven to get away from that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we've always kind of had that kind of rebel or kind of like
Countercultural would be the.
maybe to a degree.
Countercultural, yeah.
But if you
Yeah,
hop the
but-
pond and go overseas, That's the standard fare there. That's standard
Interesting.
data.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Depeche Mode. You couldn't be in England or anywhere in Europe and mention Depeche Mode, and no matter your age, they would know exactly. who they
Interesting.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when they came to the States for the first time,
Yeah.
they filled up the Pasadena,
The Rose Bowl.
the Rose Bowl. They filled
Yeah.
it up. So it's like, anyway, that's
The only dance that I've really gotten into, or techno, I guess, I don't know if it'd be techno, is Daft Punk. I've listened to a lot of Daft
They're
Punk
cool.
songs.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably geared more towards younger people too. I don't know.
They're not even together anymore. Are
No,
they?
they have disassembled.
Yeah.
But
They did the
Well,
Tron
now you got
Legacy,
some
right?
homework. You need to go home.
I
and
need
look
to
up
listen.
Depeche
I've
Mode.
heard Depeche Mode, but I've never
You
heard.
You
You
probably
you
heard the
probably
name,
heard
you
their
think.
songs. You just
Yeah.
didn't know who they were.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I have my daughter's 17, and she's a bit of an anomaly. She's an outlier. She was raised on the Beatles and all that stuff. So she comes to me. She'll be like, "Okay, Dad, this influence this new band," and she'll give it to me.
Yeah.
She gave me is it Mitski?
Yeah.
The other day, she was really cool. That's a new one. So there's a bunch of new artists that we get brought to. That bring it to. I love seeing things because the younger people think it's so much different. It's really not. It's really not. It's window dressing.
Yep.
It's the same clothes and shirts. It's just different colors and everything. It's just
Interesting.
window dressing.
I will say though, real quick, music in the 50s had its own thing.
Yep.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000, it stopped.
That's true.
Nobody's like, remember the music of the 2010s?
Could it also be though that we're so close to that time still? Do you think in like 20 years it'd be like
You mean
there's
like looking back nostalgically?
yeah, or I guess it is
I
so
don't know.
broad now.
I mean,
that
I think every decade had
a thing.
their music. And
Yeah.
it's like, I really feel like in the 2000s it stopped. I mean, like the
Interesting.
90s had grunge.
and
right?
and I think it
80s
has
had new wave.
and I think it has a lot to do with the internet. I think it has
Yeah.
a lot
Me
to
too.
do with it's a different generation, different generations. It's different culture now.
Yeah.
Their focus is not the same focus that we
No.
had because they weren't raised in the same environment that we were raised in.
Yeah.
Could it also be that people it was more of a cultural movement then where everybody was somewhat listening to similar stuff, whereas now you have so many choices.
Well, and also
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Absolutely.
and
Like
also the choices that they're listening to are like 20 and 30-second clips.
Oh,
That's
I
yeah.
don't
true.
feel like they're
Yeah.
consuming 3 and 4 minute songs until later.
Interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
so
Like,
And
on
anything
short
goes
man.
nowadays. It's it's a lot like music's a lot like clothing. It's just like anything goes. It used to be like, let's say the 90s and the 80s. You had style.
Yep.
This is the 80s style. This is what everybody looks like. The 90s. This is pretty much what everybody looks
Mhm.
like. Now it's like
you gotta target in
anything
pajamas.
goes.
Yeah.
It's like the generation has just taken it and just. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do this. I'll do that. All in a different day, kind of thing. And I love that. That's cool. That's freedom.
Yeah, like
That's for
in
sure.
the 2010s, I know there's like a big I know Drake was big, maybe like hip hop was big.
Mhm.
Probably not as like big to say like this was defining it. But I was growing like even in the 2020s, you see like this resurgence of country music. A lot of the country
Yeah.
market is getting like bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we'll see.
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And it's changed. Country music has changed too. They've
Yeah.
been
they've embraced technology.
they've been
Embraced
exactly.
tech-
No, it's not
Technology.
derogative.
Not-
Like,
yeah,
back
it's
in my
true.
day, it was like guitar, fiddle, drums, bass.
Yeah.
That's it.
Although the most refreshing country guy that I've heard in the last 20 years, and forgive me, I don't know the gentleman's name. He's the one that did a thing on YouTube and he just became a sensation overnight. He doesn't have a label.
It could be a lot of.
that could be a lot.
No,
of
this
people.
guy's very specific.
Is it
You're not gonna. I don't know.
Stinky Whistle Teaks?
I think that is. Yeah. Now that you
that's
say
him.
that.
But like if you listen to like a random Morgan Wallen track, he can either be like sound like traditional country, or he like takes like hip hop beats
Right.
and
Like
uses
Shabuzi.
it. Yeah, Shabu, exactly,
Like
exactly.
I have never been into country at all. I was always like avoid it. But then like I started listening to it over the last like 5 or 6 years. And I'm like, this is pretty good,
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, and then Shabuzi came out and it's like, I know it's pop. It's just pop.
Yep.
But that like allowed me to go back into some of the traditional country stuff. And I'm like, some really good stuff here.
Oh yeah.
Kind of missed out.
I
And
do
now
think-
you're seeing a resurgence of like outlaw country come back.
Absolutely.
With
Yeah.
just a man and his guitar.
Mhm.
And it's just he's got a story to tell.
That's some
and-
Zach Bryan stuff right there.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely, and I love that stuff.
The thing I love about country music is it comes down just to the songwriting. It comes down to the songwriting. Now you've got your show offs, and you got your show offs where people are picking as fast as they can and do everybody. Everybody, rock does the same thing.
Exactly.
But really, when it comes down to country, and that's me personally, when I'm like Gerald, it's not my main cup of tea, but it's on the table. So now I was raised around it. My family's all country, so it's probably the reason why I didn't embrace it as much, because you have to go on your own path and stuff. But I do love the songwriting. They make the best broken heart songs in the world. And when I was a kid, I loved that stuff because I was like, that's real. To me, that felt real. That dude really got his butt kicked by that girl. That feels real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's still in jail for it. Too.
Exactly. Now, when you go through it, when you actually go through something like that, you're like, yeah, I hate that song now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. This was fun. The part of the reason why I like to have different people on is just to show how different people are, but also how similar people are in shared experiences. And I appreciate you guys giving your own shared experience today. And I was just curious, what is the best place people can find you guys?
I mean, honestly, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Spotify,
iTunes.
Apple. Yeah.
ThisEmptyVessel.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Skippy set it up for us. They did a good job. The company
Yes.
did.
Yes.
Scott.
So-
I'm
Very
sorry,
nice.
Scott, I probably need to ask him how he wants to be referred to in a public setting. I think he's always been Skippy.
He's always going to be Skippy.
Yeah.
He's locked. I'm sorry.
He's
Y'all have a social media, Instagram account, stuff like that?
We do. We
You do?
This empty vessel.
Okay. This empty vessel.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know.
And we're all over social media too. You can't go on TikTok without seeing this.
Cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, and YouTube and did you say Instagram too? Wes handles the Instagram. Yeah, Wes handles the Instagram account.
Very
So.
nice.
Awesome.
Well, thank you
awesome.
guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Man, thanks so
You
much
guys
for
have been
having
great.
us.
Thank
Of
you
course.
so
Been
much.
great.
Thank you.
This
Yes.
was great.
Thank you.
You can find all of their information, including ours, if you want to follow us, down below. And thank you for joining us once again. Remember to subscribe, click the bell so you get notified. We're trying to do it every week as much as we can.
Try to.
New business is getting a little busy.
Yeah.
But that being said, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
man.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
listening to a few old guys.
Yeah.
Goodbye.